Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Dark Souls Weaponlocke Challenge, a live stream series where we ban a weapon class after every boss battle. And if you want to watch these challenge runs on your own time, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and boop that bell button to stay notified. Now, in the last stream, we defeated Calamite, which finished off Callus, and now all we have left to use for weapons is Ultra Greatswords, which is what we're going to use against Gwyn. Now, I did a little bit of research on parry strategies for Gwyn, and I'll be trying those out tonight because whether we finish this stream tonight in under 20 minutes or a lot longer is going to depend on my ability to learn how to parry at least semi-consistent. So, we got our target shield, we have our Ultra Greatsword, and we're going to be doing our absolute best at this. Let's do this. Here. Can't believe we dodged that. Oh, hey, Copper Nicholson, we're just gonna be fighting the final boss tonight. Be a fun scrim. Oh, okay. Glad to hear you're working on that, Copper Nickel. Glad you're bringing some more ideas then. That's good. As for me, I'm going to be trying to battle. No, it's not over yet, Copper Nicholson. We still have to beat the final boss. I've decided that when we were going back through this area, it was just more consistent to try and do the bop against the fights as opposed to parry. And so, yeah, and ultimately, it's more important for me to get more parry practice than anything else. We're not. No, Copper Nicholson, I still have to beat the boss. Hello, Drakgor. Thanks for dropping by. How's it going, dude? Ah, I see. Yeah, that happens from time to time, I suppose. But I'm definitely excited to try something. So, first thing I'm going to do is defeat the knights, and then I'll throw on the symbol of avarice to get our health into the red and go from there. Gates! No jumping for you. So with that Drakgor, also that was extremely convenient by that, and I got into the red very quickly. So if you don't feel side effects, it's probably, you know, anywhere from the next day to a few days afterward, but and it's different for everyone, but regardless, it's still good that you got it, which is different. Alright, so now to kind of explain what I'm going to be doing here. So, I still want to use the Red Tear Stone Rain for the initial strike, since this combined with the Hornet Rain gets us close to half of Gwyn's health, which is massive. However, after Gwyn, after the initial parry, I'm going to change my strategy a bit. So before, what I did was I was just spamming attacking and just praying that Gwyn would go for a grab attack, but that's unreliable. And I've heard that if you drink an Estus flask immediately after Gwyn does a riposte, then Gwyn gets confused and ends up doing the slow right sword slash attack every single time, like as his next attack. And if that is true, then that would actually mean that all we'd have to do is parry the initial jump, riposte, drink Estus, parry any follow-up attack, riposte, drink Estus until it wins. That's the theory anyway. Let's see how it turns out in practice. Let's do this. Come on, Gwyn. That's what you got. Right, there's the initial riposte. Rank. Let's go! It is true! It is true! Come on. Come on, come on. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen! That's it! Well then. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just witnessed history, because when have I ever done something involving parry that's first try? Yeah, that boss, thanks for coming, but we just defeated the final boss. I can't believe that worked. Okay. Well, you know what that means, chat. There's a few things we have to do. First of all, we finally get rid of our last weapon class. Yeah, I know. Great stream, everyone. Tonight. I'm just kidding. Hold on a second. Okay, so we can't use any weapons anymore for dealing damage. So I think, since it's the end, it's time to give Tova her send-off. So where's her? I will admit, I was wholeheartedly expecting to have to do a bunch of tries of that, but I guess not. Alrighty. There's our Tova. I think since this is the send-off right now, we're not using any weapons, we're just... I mean, a proper send-off. Thanks, Redford. I will admit that is my first time defeating Gwyn using parrying as the main method. And the other thing that's amazing is we actually defeated all 26 bosses using this rule set. So we used one of every single weapon class, even like some weird stuff like shields and unarmed. It was a lot of fun. So I think this is the default loadout for Tova. So where's the blonde? Oh, it's here somewhere. Am I just being dumb? Oh, there it is. Well, chat, I know there's two endings to this game. I know that the other one's going through like a door back there, but this is Firekeeper Tova, and the only thing that would be fitting for our dear Firekeeper would be to link the flame to be that light for future generations. So it is done. Maybe a great sacrifice, not be. Let this light show the way for generations to. Let this land henceforth no longer be known as Lordran. Henceforth, let this land be known as Arabonia. Age of Fire. Hey, I got an achievement. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Dark Souls, and it was perhaps the shortest stream I've ever had. Well, in the end, Tova linked the flame as she should have as the Firekeeper. Fair enough, Coppernickel. F's in chat for sure. But yeah, so if it wasn't already apparent from me playing this game, I adore Dark Souls. It is such an excellently designed game from start to finish. Does it have its flaws or its silly moments? Sure. But between the interconnected level design of Dark Souls 1 is something that I feel any level designer worth their salt should at least be aware of, because it really embraces the Metroidvania elements so well and makes the worlds feel so much more believable, like the fantasy nature of it, because of how interconnected everything is. I genuinely appreciate the fact that like you can walk from the Dragon Shrine like the very bottom of the Dragon Shrine all the way up to, I think, the top of Sen's fortress. And that's without a loading screen. That's pretty cool. Hey, Shantaw, thanks for dropping by. You're just in time to see the threads as we just defeated Gwyn in first try this stream using parry strategies. So, now we're just kind of reminiscing about the run. And speaking of the run, I will say this was a really, really fun challenge, and we all should give a thanks to Weaponlocke for this challenge run idea, because I got to experience so many different weapon classes in this game that I'd never even tried before, or would have even thought of trying. I mean, just to name a few. Whips, never used them before, ended up really, really liking them, especially with how well they did against the gargoyles. Shields was pretty hilarious, especially since I didn't even know like the butterfly shield existed. Like there was a shield with a ranged attack until I had to think about it for this run. And that's true, Ducker. Every weapon has a different playstyle, even the ones that you think would be similar. Like you would think like a long sword and a great sword would be pretty similar, but no, not really. There is some nuance to them, even though some of them might look similar. Oh, welcome back, Shuntalk. Glad to have you back. In terms of weapon classes, I really enjoyed using. I mean, I always love my bows. Those are great. Yes, exactly, Retro. Dev stream it is, I guess. Very true. But yeah, just kind of reflecting back on the run, I think the weapon classes I enjoyed using the most were bows. Whips were fun. Axe, I think, was probably the biggest surprise, since I had barely axes. Like, I had used the gargoyle axe once or twice in like a normal playthrough, but I opted out to switch that out for like hammers and great hammers later on. But you saw throughout this run, we relied on that stinking gargoyle axe so many times, and it became like the old reliable staple for this run. It was very fun. It had such a wide reach, and I also think like that the extra status resistance probably helped too. That's a minor thing. But yeah, definitely really grew to love axes because of this run. And it's a shame because I actually think regular axes weren't a weapon class in some of the future Souls games. Like great axes are, but regular weapon axes I don't think they are. Which kind of a shame if you think about it. Not the Taurus with your favorite weapon for the run. No. No. Oh, for sure, Suntalk, it was a very interesting challenge, as you can see.
Indeed. The dark sign brands
and
the undead.
Definitely forced us to learn some new weapon classes. If I'm being honest, I did not like using the catalysts that much. And that might seem surprising, since I know that catalysts are supposed to be like the easy mode of this game, but for me, it's just like you had two kinds of spells. You either had spells that were, you know, solid against normal enemies, but could leave you vulnerable against some heavier hitting or faster bosses. So bosses that it's weird because the spells are balances all over the place. Some of the spells, they take a long time to cast and only do modest damage, and other spells, I'm looking at you, Darkbeat, they take practically no time to cast and do an absurd amount of damage. And that just feels like such a massive disconnect as to whether, like, okay, if I have, like, the Soul Spear, I can cast that faster than I can cast my Soul Arrow, even though the Soul Spear does more damage, and it travels faster, and I think it has better homing as well, and it's like, why would you ever use the earlier spells if you had the later ones? I'm sorry to hear that, Shuntalk. I hate it when that happens. Oh yeah, that's true, Vector. This was also my first time going into the DLC, so that was fun. And the DLC bosses were really well done. I do have to say. I'm glad that we had the time to face them before Elden Ring, because they were so much fun. The Mantis fight especially, you know, basing that with bows was just a blast. Touchler. So, was after this point from the stream. A great question, that bot. So, what I'll do is I'll wrap up, I guess, the Dark Souls stream. It'll only be a few minutes. And then we'll swap over to do some Heartwell dev stuff. So, probably work on some more tile sets for a bit. However, I will say, I am taking open suggestions for the character for Elden Ring. So, what I mean by that is, while I'm doing my thing with Heartwell, I would be curious to hear, like, any ideas you guys have for the Elden Ring character. Since we know, with Tova, we had the lore connect back to Trails of Cold Steel with being Toa's ancestor. And now, we need to think of, where's the lore going to fall for Elden Ring? I have an idea, but I want to discuss it once we're kind of... Yeah, exactly. We have to talk about snacks and laboratories, exactly. But yeah, I'll be taking open suggestions for that throughout the... I will get to that in a second, Redbar. But first, I want to quickly wrap up the Dark Souls stream and switch over to the dev stream, where we can... Anyway, if you're watching this on Twitch, feel free to stick around for the dev stream. If you're watching on this extremely short Dark Souls stream on YouTube and you like what you saw, please consider subscribing on YouTube. It's free to subscribe on YouTube. You can always change your mind later, and it's a great way to show support. If you're watching on YouTube, I hope you have an awesome night.